Hello, I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley.
And I'm her daughter, Dr. Heidi Horsley.
Heidi and I want to welcome you to Open to Hope Conversations, the podcast.
We believe that the greatest gift you can give yourself after a loss is hope, using this moment to connect with others who have not only survived but thrived.
So let's get started. Welcome to the Open to Hope show. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Horsley, with my daughter and co-host,
Dr. Heidi Horsley.
Well, Heidi, we have got a great guest on today because he is a multi-talented guy and a widower, and I know he's going to have a lot of great information on his journey through spouse loss.
Absolutely, Mom. We're going to talk about a widower's journey through spouse loss, like you said. And our guest today is going to be Jerry Danielsen. And Jerry right now is in his studio as we speak. Hello, Jerry.
Hello.
Hey, it's great to have you.
Jerry is a composer, a producer, an author, and a podcast host. He has written music for feature films and TV, as well as being a recipient of a gold record and a Signal Award. He is the author of Dying to Live, which recounts his and his late wife Angela's experience with terminal illness, and the F Cancer National Tour. I love that name, Jerry.
Thank you.
Our show is going to conclude today, Mom, with Jerry's song, which is called We All Will Die Someday. And you and I listened to it last night, and it's really good.
Yeah.
So please stay tuned for that at the end. Welcome to our podcast, Jerry.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to meet you, and this is great.
Yeah, it's great having you on. Well, talk a little bit about your wife.
She was very young, and she was originally 43 when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And it was very aggressive. It was growing quickly and suddenly. So she was 43, and we jumped on it as quickly as possible and did the treatments that one is familiar with in this field, which is we did chemo first, which actually shrunk the tumors, and then a lumpectomy, and then 35 radiation treatments.
Wow.
And the whole hair loss thing, and then she was on Herceptin and some other tamoxifen to try to keep it from coming back, and she felt renewed after months rolled by, and she went back to school, got a master's degree. She was a school teacher, but she wanted to elevate to be like a principal or at least vice principal. So she went back to school, got a master's degree, her hair was growing back, everything was great. And then a couple of years later, she wasn't feeling well again, and we didn't know what the cause was. It seemed like an allergy. And in her case, it was an allergy, but we didn't know at the time it was an allergy to the tamoxifen she was taking.
Oh,
But
wow.
it was kind of fortuitous because they couldn't figure it out in the ER because it was to the point of ER. And they did a CAT scan and discovered that the cancer had metastasized. It was in her liver and lungs, which is kind of how breast cancer goes. If you just read about it on the internet, it metastasizes in those places, sometimes the bone, sometimes the brain. And she wasn't in pain because of that. If she had not have had that allergic reaction to the one med, we wouldn't have known the cancer came back, and her longevity would have been cut short. It becomes treatable but not curable was the saying that they had. So we tried all kinds of. We didn't do alternate stuff, but we did complementary supplements and complementary, lots of dietary changes, and we did whatever we could to stave this off as long as possible, praying and hoping for a miracle, which can happen. And with all the best intentions, all kinds of friends were saying you should try this and that. So we filtered all those things. There was a point in time where, as things went on, she was still working, and she didn't want her identity to be I'm a cancer victim. She wanted to be herself. She was a very strong woman, and I was very supportive of her. So together we've really bonded. I mean, we were already bonded. It wasn't our first marriage for either of us, so it was like the right person at the right place at the right time.
Did you have children?
I had a child from a past marriage and she did not have any, and we did not have any together. We had only gotten married a couple years before this, but she was in her 40s, so we're going, should we have kids? And once the cancer started, and
Yeah.
Wow. So
chemo
that,
started, the doctor told us don't plan on having children. If you're on chemo, there's no way. Teaching and learning is a big deal for both of us in life, right? Teaching and learning. So I was just gonna just hit on that when we knew things were going bad and we were looking at the calendar, looking at there's a doctor's appointment, then there's a treatment, then there's a checkup, and your calendar starts filling up and the sort of deflation one feels. I said, when we have time, we should go on trips instead. And she loved cruises. That was her thing. I liked cruises. She loved cruises. So when I found this time and I said, I'm going to do something. So I booked us a cruise to Hawaii from LA.
Nice.
And the way she lit up and the way that it gave us something to look forward to in the future instead of just this slow decline was
Yeah.
so miraculous in spirit that I kept doing it. And I ended up titling this whole crusade the F Cancer National Tour. And
oh,
I can actually hold up. I made shirts. See,
Oh, I love this. And you wore them on the cruise ship?
we wore them on the cruise ship, even though I knew it was coming and she knew it was coming and everybody knew it was coming. Once it happened, it's to me, it was akin to you can see the train coming down the tracks and you're stuck on the tracks and you know it's going to hit you and you think you're prepared for it. But once it hits you, it's it's a whole different ball game.
people talk about getting rid of the hospital bed or the
Yes.
medications and I mean, it's really heart-wrenching.
Very heart-wrenching, and in this case at the moment she was passing, there were some friends that she knew that were going to come by that we thought it would be like a week later or something, and
Yeah.
they came right after she passed, and it was just I wasn't crying, I was wailing.
Right.
And then the whole procedure of calling the hospice people, and then that we already had it set up with the people who are going to come and take the body and all that stuff. The aftermath is is a lot of what your focus is, and of course I was dysfunctional. These women who were her friends came and they hugged me and we all hugged each other for a while, and eventually they leave, and there I am now
By
in a
yourself.
in a house.
Hmm.
And to your point, she had been in home hospice for 2 months. So,
Mhm.
and I was her advocate before that. I stepped up and just became the squeaking wheel that got the grease when it came to dealing with the hospitals and dealing with all the pharmaceutical stuff. So you're right. It's a full-time job. I took time off of everything I was doing. It's a full-time job. And then suddenly that's all gone.
Well, that's my question for you. And my mother, my dad died in 2020, so my mom went through a lot of this too. How do you even begin to put your life back together? I know it's a new normal you're looking for, but how does it even start?
Yeah, that's a great question. For me, it was a balance. Like my phone was ringing and people were saying, if you need anybody, and the what I sensed is the overwhelming kindness of people who genuinely cared was lift gave me some buoyancy. It lifted me up. I didn't feel the need to have to be with people 24/7 because for me I felt some need not to isolate but a little solitude just to process. That was my method. I know everybody's methods are different. Some people don't like to be alone. I kind of balanced the two things. I happen to be with my health organization. It's called Kaiser, which is kind
Yeah.
of a bigger thing in California. They offer some therapy, like a grieving counseling. So I did attend a group grieving and with a
Support.
moderator. It was timed for 10 weeks, I believe, and each week, once a week, each week was a different topic. And I thought, oh, that's not really going to help, but it did help a little bit. At even just a little bit is a lot when you're in that world. And you know, I learned things like everybody, there is no right way to grieve,
Hmm.
you know. But to honor, I talked with the moderator who had been dealing with this for a long time in her profession. To honor your feelings that you're having is was important to me. I was going to let myself feel the things I was going to feel, and because I had friends saying you should get busy, you should work more, you should do this, and I thought actually I think I need to just feel what I'm feeling, as horrible as this is,
Hmm.
because I think I can work through it in a more honest way for me. So that was the path that I chose to navigate this. It was like the absolute unacceptable thing actually happened, right? It was like an impossible thing happened.
Hmm.
And again, she was vibrant, and other than cancer, she was healthy, 49 years old. And I'm a little older, but she, you know, we had bonded so closely. It was like losing a limb or something, you know, losing part
Well,
of
you
your,
don't expect to lose someone at 49. So this is
right.
it's an identity loss, like you're saying.
You're also grieving the future that you would have shared that now you are not sharing.
How long did it take you to start doing your music?
So for my music, I mentioned this a little bit in my book. The last chapter is called Aftermath, and it was like I have a piano in the house and I have this music studio, and I thought, should I write a song about this or whatever? And it was so, my emotions were so turbulent. And one day I just walked over to the piano and just played a couple. It was weeks, not months. It
Okay.
was weeks, not months, because I mean, it was daily for me. That's what I do. I mean, that's my world. And the other thing though is that I've spent quite a bit of time in the LA area as a poet. So, um, the funny aside is poetry is not a get rich quick scheme, right? I mean, you do poetry because the words just come out. So I've done that. So Angela and I had a thing where every month on our anniversary day, I would write her a little love poem. One of the first creative acts I did was write a poem after she passed. That was one of the first creative things that I did afterwards, is jot down some words. I jumped into working a little bit, but I just kept myself pretty, I kept it pretty minimal. But then there is the notion that you need to have income, and I hadn't been working for a while because I was taking care of her full time. So eventually I let it come back and dealt with it as it came. Lots of guys would come by and just to hang out, or we'd meet for coffee. And it was kind of, I got a lot of emails and texts and people and social media stuff. I had posted about the F Cancer tour on social media, and it went slightly viral. We went into the high hundreds, 600 people commenting on it and rooting for us. And a lot of those people afterwards reached out to me, and I still get some notices, like when they think they're having a difficult thing, they go back and read what we did, and it gives them some kind of empowerment.
Hmm.
So one of the things that helped me, and maybe this will resonate with some of the folks who listen. I know that sometimes grieving, we don't know it's the death is coming, and that we can't plan on it, and there it is. With us, we were pretty sure it was coming. We were hoping for a miracle, but we knew it was coming. So we did do and say everything we could think of while she was still around. And I think that is a good message, because after she passed, I did not have regrets. I didn't wish I would have said I love you enough times. I didn't wish I would have spent more time. I took time off of work. We spent all that time with each other. And I think that helped my grieving later, because
Mhm.
I think it would be harder in grieving to look back and think I would have, I could have, I should
Right.
have.
You been dating? It's been 6 years, and are you in a relationship?
For the first year or more, I was probably unapproachable. I mean, I didn't put myself out here. I'm sure the vibes that I put out were I'm friendly, but that part of my heart was just
Yeah.
pretty closed off to that
Right.
notion. I did date a little bit, and like it would go okay, talking on the phone and doing some Zoom stuff. I guess it was 8 months later was when COVID hit and all the
Uh,
lockdown stuff hit. So going out in public and just randomly meeting people wasn't happening very much, but a friend of a friend kind of thing. And so sometimes I would chat with somebody on Zoom, and then as it lightened up, everybody was getting out more. But we had a dog named Max. Angela and I did, and of course the dog is still here. So I had a companion, and this woman had her dog. We talked about walking our dogs, so we walked our dogs together, and
That's a
over
good
time
first
it just
I
date.
love it.
I
that
like
was a
that.
first date. Yeah, we
I
got
like
together
that.
and we hiked through some mountains near her house, a little bit south of me, and took our dogs for a walk, just chatted about life. And she was very friendly, very cool. It wasn't going to work after a while as far as digging deeper.
Yeah.
Then there was another woman who I met who was a jazz singer, and she was she was pretty seemed very interested, and I was interested, and I don't know, just never didn't feel like a really good it feel like dating was fun. We dated a little bit, and there was a woman I attended a global artist community seminar online with a couple hundred people on Zoom, but you'd go into breakout rooms, and there was a woman from Nashville who I met, and she called me later and we started talking, and we flew back and forth a couple times. But long story short, now I am dating a woman named Rebecca, a very lovely woman. And we met at my local community college where I had served on the board of trustees. She's a college instructor there, so we have been dating. So that's a long way to get to yes. We both.
What are you doing with the F Cancer Tour? Are you still doing things with that, or
So
is that
I
over?
originated that. What I've done with that is simply encouraged people, because people have reached out to me. Here's what you did. It doesn't have to be you take a cruise somewhere. You can just find the thing of that you both agree on that is a passionate thing to help you live forward into the future with not with hope of this disease will go away or any terminal illness, but something positive to get you through some of the hard weeks, to something that you can look forward to and truly put the world aside. When we were on these cruises, we could almost pretend you don't have a terminal illness and live day to day. So, one
Right.
day at a time is a cliche saying, but one day at a time can mean your health. There are good days
Yep.
and bad days. And
That is
that's the,
true. Where
yes.
people can get your book, because I know they're going to want to hear about all your great advice that you've got, and tell them the name of the book and where they can get it.
My book is called Dying to Live, and it's about the F Cancer Tour, but it's also kind of a love story. It's like a prescriptive memoir of what we did. And there is some stuff at the end of it about life goes on and how it went on. The website is my name, Jerry Danielsen, Danielsen. That book will be out in 2026. And you can also find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And I have some other websites with music on them and stuff, but that's generally how you can find me. Is just Google my name.
And you can see there's a gold record behind him.
Yes, you can. Back.
And talk about your song that we're going to go out with.
So,
We all will die someday.
so I got the idea for the song before the cancer diagnosis, and I think it was from a book I was reading, um, some Eastern philosophy kind of stuff, and it just hit me, that the same thing that hits other people, wherever you are in life, there is an acceptance that you will be on this journey and get there someday. And the verses talk about the little things in life that we think matter at the time, but in the big picture of things, a lot of things are more trivial. There are big deals and there are little deals. If I stub my toe, wow, that hurt a lot, but that's not really a big deal, right? So I kind of have fun playing with words. There's a little bit of a humor in this song, but then it hits on the chorus saying, "We all will die someday." That's a big deal.
All right. Well, Jerry Danielsen, thank you so much for being on our show today. You're delightful, and good luck on your continuing on your journey and with this new relationship.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Jerry. You've got really great energy. I think that you are an inspiration to all of us that, you know what, even when the love of our lives and important people die, life goes on, our hearts are big, we can love many people, and we can find hope again.
And the person might die, but the love doesn't die. I know you've
Absolutely.
heard that before,
I
but
love that,
that
Jerry. Thank you for the
Thank you.
reminder. Absolutely.
Heidi and I want to thank everybody for joining us on this show today. And we always want to remind you that if you've lost hope, please lean on ours until you find your own. And God bless.
You like me and I like you, held together with the glue of knowing it will end. The revelations of the past, the future that is coming fast, the blood and tears of men. The universe will explode, wiping out all that we know, making room for fate. The chances are our memories will fade out with the cosmic breeze. Let's sit and meditate.
Dr. Heidi Horsley. You have been listening to Open to Hope, the podcast. You can follow Open to Hope on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. To learn more, visit us at opentohope.com and go to Apple Podcasts to subscribe.
I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley. Join us again next week for another Open to Hope conversation, where we invite you to lean on our hope until you find your own.